The old cynicism is gone. We have faith in our leaders. We're optimistic as to what becomes of it all. It really boils down to our ability to accept. We don't need pessimism. There are no limits.
It figures it would be something like this.
Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. I had to replay that clip from They Live because it just it echoes what's going on with the whole Denver Bronco phenomenon right now. The old cynicism is gone. Well, when you watch the All 22, you may want to rethink that. So I'm going to do this quick little film. I just want to set the record straight. First of all, that the Broncos didn't generate the fumble that the Viking running back there, he generated that completely all on his own. I'm going to show the film on that so we can dispel that right away. But I just wanted to say that I'm on record the last two seasons saying, you know, the Broncos won 5-11, and I said there's a fine line between teams that go 5-11, now 6-11, I guess, if you want to put it that way, and your 8-9s, 9-8, and 10-7s. It all depends on the ineptitude of the team you're playing, your counterpoint. So when these teams that are 8-9, 9-8, 10-7 hit some inept teams, hit things just right, these records that they have are skewed based on that kind of thing. And it's one thing when you hit one team shooting itself in the foot, and then a second team in the shooting itself. But when you hit four teams in a row shooting themselves in the foot, you do have to wonder. They say, you know, about, you know, is things scripted? Well, personally, you know, I know there's some conspiratainment on that subject, but personally, because I watch so much film, I just think the NFL is overall a bad product, and I don't think they're capable of rigging. You know, I think they maybe they try to rig in certain cases, sure. This is going back, you know, as far as football's been around, but I just don't think the teams are good enough to they're inept on their own. I've been watching Denver Broncos defense. Bucketman has been watching the offense, and this defense is horrific. I mean, I'm going to show a little bit about that, but I want to dispel this running back he fumbled all on his own. You have no business turning the ball over 3 times and winning, coming out with a win. You should lose. The Vikings should have lost. Now, they were going in for the kill. They had this game in hand. They had it in their hands. They were in control the whole time of this. And, you know, and it's understandable. This defense is horrific. Now, I'll give Vance Joseph some credit when I've been watching the second half, and he got out of those soft zones. And actually, the Broncos can play man. But when they get back in that soft zone crap, the Minnesota would just take advantage of it. So I just don't understand why they just don't keep playing the tighter coverage. But, you know, it is what it is. But I honestly think that this win streak, and I'm sure the NFL would love to see a Mahomes, Russell Wilson playoff game with celebrity wives, looking on. And, you know, that's the garbage the NFL has turned into instead of let's see a good quality product no matter who's out on the field. But here's the caveat. I think that this winning streak for the Broncos is a short-term win, a short-term gain, and a long-term loss. They need to revamp this defense. I mean, it's really bad. It's really bad. And again, this is why this team falls in that Jeff Fisher, 8-9. We're just happy to be there. Don't make any. Just go out and get another edge guy. Even though we've been telling you the edges are just the cat's meow. Offensively, I'm going to play some audio clips some back and forth. We were talking about, what we were seeing on film. Bucketman actually has some good things to say about the offense, but it really is a good analysis on Bucketman's part. That's why I'm going to play what our phone conversations were. There's some really good analysis on his part that, people don't get it here. And they never, in the public, they just think we hate the Broncos. We actually say a lot of the good things behind the scenes that we're seeing. I thought Bucketman is doing a good job with his analysis. And we're the authority on the Denver Broncos because we don't give you bullshit. We don't sit there and start talking fantasies and, if this team, if that happens. We tell you what's going on as it's going on and what we see, what the truth is. What is really going on with this team. So without further ado, let's take a look at the film. All right. We're going to go through this frame by frame so there's no question of what's going on here. Now, I just want to explain, this is not a fan channel. We have to cut through so much PR, so much bullshit, good, bad, indifferent. We just want the facts. And right now we have Bucketman's arguing with a bunch of drunk fans that, that refuse to answer any logical questions. They're having the Justin Simmons argument. That's another tale for another time. But I just want to show that the Broncos did not generate this fumble. And this is really important because Minnesota's ready to put the dagger. We're at the end of the third quarter. Minnesota's ready to put the dagger in the Broncos' heart. There's no doubt in my mind, I'm sure not with the Minnesota Vikings because they've had this game in hand the whole time. That's an important point. And, they're about ready to go up 24. I don't have any, with this defense playing as bad as they are, and again, fans don't want you to look at the all-22 unless it's good plays. Then, then you can go look at it. I just look at it to evaluate, and that's what we're doing. We look at to give an overall picture of what's going on. Denver Broncos really should have lost this game at this point. This should have been this. They're ready to go up 24-9. Okay, the Minnesota Vikings. But as you can see, the handoff is absolutely clean and crisp. They have an edge rusher come in. It may be Jonathan Cooper. I'm not sure at this point. I have to go back and look. It doesn't really matter. Okay, the edge rusher is actually Josie Jewell. He gets a slap, if at best, on the running back's bicep that he's holding the ball. But as you can see in the next frame, he still has the ball firmly. It did absolutely nothing. He's firmly holding on to the ball. DJ Jones is on his opposite side trying to make a play, and he's being taken out. He doesn't even touch. He doesn't touch the running back whatsoever either. So as you can see, he firmly has the ball in hand going past these guys. In the next frame, the running back, you see him losing the football. He loses it on his own. There's nobody around him. In this frame is when he loses it. You have Jones, DJ Jones touching his calf. That is not going to generate the fumble. So once again, the Broncos have to rely on the other team screwing up. And we have to ask, how many of these do you have in the tank? Are you going to ask Cleveland to screw it up? Now, and here's the thing, too. The Broncos, on the Broncos offense, I'm going to play some audio about the positives on the offense, but I have to make this point. The defense did generate 2 turnovers. Josie Jewell causing a ball to go off target, turns out to be intercepted, and then an excellent play by one of the few good defenders that they have on the team, McMillan. But the offense was unable to do anything with that, and that's a very important point too. This offense, it's another video, and it's something that Bucketman was looking at. It's when they're running what we said from 2 seasons ago what to do, they have success. But when they want to run this front office throwing the ball all over the place, they sputter, they stall, and they were just kicking field goals. It's a very important point at this time to discuss. So again, what we do at this channel is we're grounded in reality. We're not here to play upon people. We're not here to prey on drunk fans for subs, likes. We tell the facts. We look at the film. Fans have been coming out, don't look at the film, don't look. Well, yeah, I'll tell you why they're saying this, because when you look at the film, you clearly see a team that is one game away from another 70-point beatdown if a team comes in not making mistakes and hitting on all cylinders. This defense needs to be revamped. And my fear is this little mirage of a winning streak. And that's not to take away anything from the Broncos, in a sense where, yeah, Minnesota deserved to lose this game. But the scary part is they actually should have won this game with their backup quarterback. But if you're going to cough the ball up when you're going in for the kill, you deserve to lose the game. Again, what's going to happen when a team comes in that's not making mistakes and hits on all cylinders? Again, it looks like another 70 points waiting to happen when you watch this film. That's why you watch film. You don't fool yourself. Let's go ahead and listen to Bucketman. He evaluated the offense. I thought he had some really great analysis and some positive things on the Broncos, to say that we're not all just negative. But you got to acknowledge the negatives. You can't just be a drunk fan and think that, you're a playoff team. This is not a playoff team. If the other team isn't fucking up, if they're hitting on all cylinders and not making mistakes, this is anything but a playoff team. The Denver Broncos.
I'm watching the condensed film this morning. There's 45 seconds left in the third quarter. The one thing that I really liked that Sean Payton did after that running back fumbled his own football, basically, is how he utilized Lil Jordan Humphrey, man. And I just want to bring this point up before I continue to watch this condensed film. I think a lot of players in that receiving room should take a note on how to block. We haven't had a blocker like that in the receiving corps since, I would say, Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders were here. I'm very high on Lil Jordan Humphrey. So there have been multiple occasions where they utilize the screen game where you have Jerry Jeudy, whether it's on the move, or you have McLaughlin, number 38, who they get out into the flats. And they always do these screens right behind Lil Jordan Humphrey. That's a little wrinkle that I like what Sean Payton did offensively. The Denver Broncos in this game really didn't do anything that was eye-opening. But what they did was they protected the football so far. I want to watch the fourth quarter, see what the adjustments they made. There's still the offensive line. I still have a lot of questions. Mike McGlinchey, when they do these halfback draws, when you guys get a time to watch the All-22 film, just watch Mike McGlinchey on these halfback draws. I mean, when they're going towards Garrett Bull's side, every time Mike McGlinchey, he always lets his man seal that containment, and his man is able to make a play from the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. I mean, Mike McGlinchey, man, I just don't understand the hype around this guy. I don't know if it's because he came from the 49ers and he played at Notre Dame, a high-level school. But he's just a liability out there. Lloyd Cushenberry, the same thing. He didn't have a very good night. I thought Ben Powers, in some aspects, this was probably his best game. Ben Powers in the pass protecting phase. And then Quinton Miners is, I love Quinton Miners. I'm just happy to see him ball out this year, taking that step forward. But I just want to give credit, and I don't think we've given enough credit to Zach Strife, the offensive line coach, in the running phase. I just think that this offensive line, when they're going straight forward, is a better offensive line this year. And that's credit to Zach Strife, man. I'm very high on Zach Strife. And if Chopped Liver is right and they're not listening to this toxic front office and they get rid of him, I mean, you have to listen to that man and say, hey, what do you need at the center position? What do you need at the left tackle position? And, maybe you could draft a right tackle to develop, because I just don't think you're going to be able to get rid of Mike McClinchy. I don't think this organization has the balls to do that. So, again, I'm very impressed by Zach Strife in the run blocking phase in certain schematics that they're doing. But I just wanted to bring that little wrinkle up to you guys and see what you thought, because I just think that's something that the Broncos can utilize moving forward. Another thing that I'm impressed by with Russell Wilson this year is his commitment into staying into the pocket. He's not running around in the backfield like a chicken with his head cut off. I got to give Russell Wilson credit in that aspect. When there is protection for him, he does stand into the pocket. He is committed into doing that. That play that Cortland Sutton made, that great one-handed catch over that linebacker who, again, I don't think that was a PI call, in my personal opinion. But, it's the NFL. What do you expect? That play helped out the Broncos there. But again, you see on that play, I think it was 2:25 in the fourth quarter, where Russell Wilson isn't, there's pressure coming on both sides, by both tackles. But again, there's a hole opening up in that pocket, so he steps up into that pocket and he commits to it. And that's something that I have to give Wilson credit for, is he's committed into staying in the pocket. Again, what have we said time and time again? This offense does better when you have a Drew Brees back there. I am not saying that Russell Wilson is Drew Brees, but the one thing that Sean Payton has done to mask a lot of Russell Wilson's weaknesses, I apologize, can't say anything today, is the quick passing game, but also drawing up designs where they're keeping a safety valve in those flats. And Russell Wilson is hitting those safety valves. But again, he could have took off and ran there. But again, he stood into the pocket, protected himself, and saw Cortland Sutton on a little fade route towards the sideline there, and he just threw it up. So, again, I got to give Russell Wilson credit in that aspect. He's committed to staying in the pocket this year more than I've seen over the past, I would say, 3 to 5 years. I mean, this is probably the best Wilson in the pocket that have seen in the past couple years. And that's a credit to Russell Wilson putting in the work to doing that, and also Sean Payton making a lot of the adjustments after the half to mask those weaknesses.